Hello and welcome to Fast Track. I'm Thalia Pellegrini. This week we're continuing our journey on the Eastern and Oriental Express. We've left the skyscrapers of Singapore far behind and now we're travelling through a country which celebrates its 50th birthday this year, Malaysia. Now, the country's come a long way since its independence from Britain 50 years ago, but despite that, visitors still enjoy the colonial past of the country, as Rajan's been finding out.
But nonetheless, talking to people here, you feel there is a benign attitude towards the former colonial administration and a recognition that the British legacy may well hold the key to the future of this country's tourism. The weather, the greenery, the architecture. Is this Hampshire, Kent, or even leafy Surrey? No, we're in the hilltops of the Cameron Highlands in the middle of Malaysia. Some tourist spots here are almost spookily like home from home for visiting Brits. In fact, there are times when you do wonder, where the hell am I? It may be kitsch, but hotels like this, originally established by an Englishman in 1937, have found new popularity. And this isn't the only way British heritage is earning its keep for 21st century tourism in Malaysia. Rubber and tin may have brought in the hard cash, but it was tea, surely, that moistened the British stiff upper lip and oiled the cogs of diplomacy. This tea plantation, established by a Scotsman, covers some 1,200 hectares in total. In fact, the Cameron Highlands region is the biggest producer of tea in the whole of Malaysia. Cool temperatures, high altitude, and fertile soil. All great conditions for making the perfect tea leaves. My guide, Parthipan from the area, gave me the lowdown on Highland tea production today. 160 people work in the fields here, mostly from Nepal and Bangladesh. There may be some mechanisation these days, but much of it is basic, and it hasn't eliminated the need for hard physical graft. Tea bushes are first planted in nurseries and then transferred here. It's the harvesting process that has its fair share of obstacles. Workers here are paid according to the weight, the amount of tea that they actually harvest. They're not paid on a daily rate, so the more they can compress into these bags, the more money they make. The trouble is, stuffing the bags with anything won't guarantee you your wages. You've got to get the best stuff in there.
We always say we harvest the top leaves. When you're using shears or machine, you're only harvesting the top leaves. Okay, but initially when they were picking up by hand, what they were picking up is something like this. Okay, this is what is known as a perfect leaf. It's 2 leaves and a bud. That's the golden rule of tea harvesting. These people, even though they are harvesting about 40 or 50 kgs, they don't really get paid for everything. There will be a checkpoint in our factory. They will see through what kind of harvest are you doing. If you're doing a very perfect harvest, then I give you the money. Otherwise, I will still cut your wages.
So this quality control is what you're saying?
Yes, it's QC. It's more of QC. Either they will be deducted from your pay, or you might be suspended too. If you are suspended, that means you are losing for a day's pay. So they've got to be very careful of what they're packing into the bags.
Hard life.
It is. It's definitely a hard life, but at the same time, you're getting a very good, payback too.
There's no doubt in my mind that these people deserve every cent of the $300 or so a month they earn. It was genuinely humbling to witness the effort that goes into producing what is for me a staple part of my daily routine, a nice cuppa. But hey, if visiting a plantation isn't your cup of tea, sorry, I couldn't resist it any longer, you could always try bathing in the stuff. This hotel, the Cameron Highlands Resort, another example of the colonial boutique chic that's currently sweeping across Southeast Asia, prides itself on its tea-based spa. The plant's anti-aging properties transform you into a stunning beauty queen, or something, apparently.
Now, despite all the frenetic activity here in Bangkok, you don't actually have to travel very far to find a little tranquility. Despite appearances, Thailand is actually mainly a rural country. We've been on a tour of an unorthodox vineyard, one that's floating. It's harvest time in the Chao Phraya Delta, just an hour's drive southwest of bustling Bangkok. Floating vineyards are unique to this part of the country, an area with a vast network of canals and rivers. The water in between the vines is used for irrigation, and the tropical climate means there are 2 harvests a year. The grapes are the local dark-skinned Poktum for red wine and Malaga Blanc for white. Siam Winery, a division of the company behind Red Bull, have gone into partnership with local farmers and produced their first bottle under the Monsoon Valley label here in 2003.
เราเข้ามาแล้วก็จะปรับในเรื่องของการรับซื้อโดยซื้อในช่วง
We teach them how to do the budding. Then we advise them on the irrigation and spraying, so they stop at certain steps before we harvest. We get them to advance the hang time for the grapes, so it increases the sugar levels, and we guarantee the pricing level.
Known as New Latitude Wine, Siam Winery is one of 6 Thai companies joining winemakers in Brazil, China, India and Kenya, and challenging the notion that wine can only be produced in temperate regions. Of course, when you're just 13 degrees north of the equator, all of this couldn't be possible without irrigation and modern refrigeration. At the Siam Winery factory, the air around the silver vats and oak barrels is chilled by a ferocious industrial air conditioner, while outside it's typically 35 degrees Celsius. And like its hot climate, Thailand has a cuisine to match. So winemakers are hoping that wine matching with food will eventually lead to international recognition.
Thai food is eaten in family style, so when you go to a Thai restaurant you might have different dishes served at once. Flavors from sweet, sour, spicy all play in at once. So we produce a wine that is lighter in bodied, lower in acid with very little oak, so tannins do clash with spicy food.
The main obstacle for winemakers in Thailand at the moment is tax. Wine is considered a luxury product, and Thai wines are taxed at a similar rate to overseas imports. But attitudes are slowly changing and Asian palates are beginning to develop.